Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just gonna cut to the nitty gritty today. Basically, I'm just gonna be doing a frontal reinstallation of this, like touch up the hairline a little bit. I'm about like 9 days into this adhesive right here, and it's holding pretty good, but the front hairline is just a little bit loose. So just gonna clean that up, and maybe you'll learn something along the way. I'm gonna try a different method that I haven't really tried before. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So real quick though, this video is sponsored by Lowered Hair. They're always sponsoring education inside the community. If you do want to get a hair system at a discount, check out my link down below. But let's just jump right into this, shall we? So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to just wet my hair a little bit. And the reason I'm going to do this is to try to get as much of it out of the way, easy to push back as possible. Just because, yep, there you go. You can see it lifting a little bit already, but this will allow me to get it out of the front hairline. All right, so I'm gonna wet it a little bit more. I'm gonna use a tangle teaser to just really get it out of the way. Help spread the wetness around. Spread the wetness, baby. Yeah, you know how I like it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna actually peel this up nice and easy. See, you can see it's actually holding pretty dang good as of right now. Overall, I don't really know why this unit has held so well, but it has, and I'm here for it. I'm gonna basically pin my hair as best as I can back and hopefully just make it a little bit easier to control all this fun stuff. So we got a good amount of the hair out of the way. What I'm gonna use right now is cotton balls, and I'm gonna start by cleaning off my scalp. I'm actually not gonna use any C22 or adhesive remover or solvent, I should say. I'm gonna use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. You can get the 90%, it's good. If not, no worries. I'm using 70% right now. And this is just to clean the scalp. The reason that I'm not using C22 is I find that I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just a little bit harder to clean, like the residue. And when you are doing a reinstall of just the hairline, it can leave a little bit of the C22 behind, and you know, you might not get as good of a bond application. So, all right, so as we can see, like most of this gunk up here is still attached to the hair system, it looks like. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just rolling a cotton ball along the very front of it. And I'm not worried about all of this funny little stuff. What you want to have happen is actually you want some of the cotton ball to kind of like rub off on the system, because that's the cotton ball catching the adhesive right now. So that's a good thing. It means it's working. And then you can just peel the cotton balls off, and that's gonna take the adhesive off. So old trick, you've probably seen it a couple times, but I've never really pinned back my hair like this, which is kind of cool. So right now, I'm just trying to roll off some of this adhesive gooiness. And I don't know if you guys can tell, if you're new to the channel, remember to like, comment, subscribe. But I like to make a lot of voices. I like to make a lot of silly things. And that's just because I watched a lot of movies growing up, I guess. And I just love I love characters. Like, people are funny, you know? And doing imitations of them is just something I do a lot. And I still do. People are always asking me like, why am I doing a Russian accent or an English accent or something? And it's generally, I find, just like an accent that I picked up along the way watching a movie, and I thought a quote was funny. And because of that, I started doing the accent. I started saying the one line, and then I started speaking the accent more. And then, you know, years later, I'm a wealthy, successful business owner because of my voices. Not really, but I like to think so. So, a lot of people are scared to do this kind of stuff by themselves for good reason. It takes a lot of dexterity, it takes a lot of willpower, but it's scary because you don't know if you're doing it right, and you think you might be doing it wrong, and you just spent a couple $100 on, you know, a hair system, and you don't know what you don't know. And it can be intimidating, but it does take a lot of dexterity at first to kind of give this whole thing a try yourself. But once you kind of get the hang of it and realize it doesn't have to be this big scary mess, it's not that bad. And that's one of the things that, you know, I want to do on this channel is empower you guys to do what you need to do. Don't let anything hold you back, you know. Going to a salon can be a great option for some people. I don't hate people that do that. I don't think it's wrong for everybody. The only thing is when it's a limiting factor, well, it's time to get creative. Like if you can't afford to go to one of those places, cool. Let's figure out a different way for those people. If I had a wildly successful YouTube business, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know, I probably wouldn't do this my stuff anymore, just because it takes time, it takes effort, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I don't like want to do it. So one thing that you're seeing right now is I'm actually like breaking apart some of the tape that I had on my last application, because I only use liquid adhesive at the very, very front, which, you know, it's probably not the most ideal for redoing the front hairline, but you know, it'll be all right. It can take a while to do this. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it to even do just a hairline reapplication, or if it's better just to do the whole thing over again. And I generally don't really do hairline touch-ups unless like it's an absolute emergency, just because they kind of feel pointless to me. But I thought, you know, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. That's a really bad accent. Let's give it a go, eh? Let's see. Right now I'm actually using my finger to peel off some of the adhesive because I can feel it a little bit better, which can be useful, I think, to be able to feel the adhesive on your finger. I think beginners doing this, the number one thing that a lot of people are scared of is actually like ripping or breaking their hair system, or pulling hair out or something like that, you know, basically destroying their hair system. And when you're afraid, people tend to go like way lighter on the hair system than what actually needs to be used as far as force. So what I would say is go a little bit harder than you think, but as you're doing this, the goal is don't put pressure on the hair system. You can roll things off, and you can put a lot of pressure like horizontally. Don't be stretching the system, if that makes any sense. You know, if you notice like the way that I'm moving my hands is I'm trying to pin the system and then rolling my hands over it to get the adhesive off. Should I make a stick-on hairstyle video where I just like rant and ramble for 30 minutes about everything in life, and talk to you guys about cats and acting and the state of the world and what I'm seeing and what I don't approve of and all that kind of stuff? It'd be kind of funny, right? All right, so the first step here is I'm gonna actually use some Walker Scalp Protector. I don't have any Max Old Sport anymore, but this is another Scalp Protector. Does the same thing, creates a bond in between your scalp and the adhesive. And I find that doing this can really give you good results when you're redoing your hairline. Instead of just putting on some new adhesive, if you add this extra step right here, it can save you a lot of time. All right, the next step, we're gonna take some Ghost Bond XL. Not my favorite adhesive to use, but mild Leopag. You know, I would rather use an Ultra Hold. And what I'm gonna do right here is kind of like this little blotting method that I've seen some other people use, which I've never really tried before, but we'll give it a dabble, you know, a little dollop of daisy, if you will. And I'm not laying down a ton. I'm squeezing the bottle only enough to get some of this stuff out, and hopefully it works. So for those of you that have been wondering, because you've seen some of my videos lately, you can see that there's definitely a little bit of recession that I built into this unit, as opposed to a typical CC, which would be a little bit more straight across. There's a little bit more of that kind of triangle action, this little M pattern shaped, which I have honestly been liking. You know, part of me has a hard time with letting go with, that perfect hairline. But as some of you guys have pointed out, you know, I'm 29, and it's okay. It's okay to look a little bit more mature. You know, I'm not gonna be that guy that is 60-year-old and wearing a hair system that is way too dense for him, and honestly, way too straight. Like, you know, the goal is realism. And sometimes I let it slide. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But you know, little changes like this can make a big difference. So now we're going to speed up the process. One tip for you is if you are gonna do this like I am, put the setting to cool. You don't want any sweat from your scalp to come out. That will really ruin the bond. Use a cool drying setting, it'll make it better. All right guys, it's the final step. I waited probably like 20 minutes for all this to dry. With Ghost Bond, you want it to go from white to clear, which it just about is in every single spot. So better is longer if you have the time with this stuff. Final process though is of course laying it down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it up. I'm actually gonna stretch it down. That stretch is important. That stretch is important because you don't want any wrinkles in it, and that can mess up your day. You know, getting something like a rat tooth comb can be really useful to just press down all the edges a little bit extra. Make sure you got a solid bond. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna wait probably 15-20 minutes for this to really set in, really bond, and then after I'm gonna go back through and I'm gonna take a bit of cotton ball and I'm gonna run along the edge just to make sure I don't have any extra adhesive that's outside of the area. So I have a little bit right here because it's sticking. So this is an area I'm gonna have to do a little cleanup on. But basically that's the final step for this right here, just to clean up any of that extra residue if it went over with the bond or the scalp protector, which is totally possible. And then after that, you're just gonna style your hair and send it. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two, and can't wait to see you in the next video.